brilliance. BTK, so far, what I see is a wombo combo composition. Slap those alt 1 on top of each other, and you've got the perfect setup. But if we're looking over to BLACKLIST International, they have a lot of disengage and re-engage potential. It's about timing, it's about precision.
Oh. See, for BTK, it's going to be really tricky because if they lose the early game once again, just like in the previous Hylos Alice game that BLACKLIST International pointed out, it's going to be very difficult to recover. You will not have the farming speed the farming space for Lunox, and the Granger will definitely be paling in comparison to the cores or the damage leaders that you can see from BLACKLIST International. So early game is so important for BTK.
It is. It's who can control the tempo, who will take this game away. Is it going to be BLACKLIST International moving on to the next round, or will BTK show them up and bring it to a game 5? Let's jump in towards the land of dawn here at M3 World Championship.
Let's get it right here with the compositions already set forth. It is going to be very interesting to see, right? Because Granger, this is one problem with Granger. You are going to get invaded. This is what BLACKLIST wants to do as well. They want to just pressure Granger again and again. That's what happened when BTK faced off against Evo Singapore. But with the Lolita, they can actually buy a little bit more time and actually just get this Granger to safety. But that will mean that BLACKLIST International will be able to pick up the first little Wanderer and maybe possibly snowball first in the game.
Well, I mean, that's the general idea. mobazane getting interrupted a little bit here by ohmyvenus, and at the very least, as Haji is shoving out that lane, it's a little frustrating to deal with, but Shark can only do so much. We're only expecting to see BTK really getting ahead of themselves at level 4. mobazane going to be taking with the orange buff here. ohmyvenus continuing to be an absolute nuisance to try and threaten his position and even stealing the bugbear at the same time. ohmyvenus might be in some trouble. Flickers on out of the situation. Guardian's Bulwark comes out from the side of Shark here. The rest of the team has to pull away. They keep interrupting mobazane. Can he get his beetle? Of course, he will not, with the help of Edward and Wise saving that retribution to steal as many camps as possible.
See how focused BLACKLIST International is. They even not get the orange buff for Wise just to mess up with the farming of mobazane, and this worked in game number 2. So I don't doubt BLACKLIST International will keep on doing this again.
Absolutely, and that's why I think BLACKLIST International just know how to do this again, right?
Yeah.
The thing is, this is not a hero that they are not familiar with. Granger is one of the picks for Wise. He loves this pick back in the Philippines, and they know exactly how to counter it. Right now, with the pressure that they have, they're just using it to just secure this early game objectives, and BTK, they have no answer, but perhaps, oh my god, wait a minute.
Okay.
Where's the stun? Where's the stun coming in from Shark? There we go! Shark wanted to make sure he guarantees the kill. mobazane's going to get locked down by the Daytona's welcome. Xero going to be dropping down the box. Haji manages to get that kill though with Nibiru's passion just in time as Wise cancels out the real wall manipulation onto Zia's side. Fried Chicken out of position, gets punished. What an outplay coming in for BLACKLIST International.
Initially very good for BTK, but again, they're just gonna keep on going in. BLACKLIST don't want to stop, man. What is this? Taking away that purple buff from BTK, and the Granger is already one level below of the Hylos.
I mean, that's the idea. It's about win conditions,
Yes,
right?
definitely about win conditions. That's really what Wise is all about. Imagine this. They're already making it difficult for BTK to get their own jungle. But if you're looking at BLACKLIST International, their side of the jungle isn't even touched. You see, the focus of BLACKLIST International is to not let mobazane farm. And that's almost as equal as to like building up the lead, right? Because the real way for you to build up your lead over your opponents is to actually increase the deficit. Not necessarily just increase your stock, but decrease the stock of your opponents.
Strong stonks coming all across the board, but let's not forget that the main damage dealers from the side of BLACKLIST International is coming in the form of Haji as well as Oheb. So the more time they have, and the fact is that Haji has a stronger early game, Oheb is having a fun time down on bot side.
Yeah, but right now, I mean, BTK, they're trying to make the proactive movements, but certainly they just can't, honestly, at this point, right? They're way too behind to look for this. What BLACKLIST needs to do is just keep on following them. You go bottom side, I'll go bottom side. I don't even need to trade right now. You try to make a play out of desperation, we'll be right there, and we are going to win that because of our lead right now. Look at that. Man, look at Wise. He is 2 levels ahead of mobazane. He really can't do anything right now, and that's why I didn't like the Granger pickup from BTK.
This is comfort for mobazane, but here we go. go. This is the interaction that we're waiting for. They're going to contest for the purple buff. Zia's dropping down. The real war manipulation to try to take it away. Oh, a little sad there. mobazane did not get his purple buff again, but here comes Edward trying to punish. Daytona's welcome right at the edge, finds it, but where's the rest of his team? There we go. Haji managed to get the Beerus passion just in time, and ohmyvenus trying to pull him out of this awkward situation here. It's going to be a 1-for-0 trade in favor of BLACKLIST International.
Like we said again and again, this is going to constantly be happening. BLACKLIST International, they are going to invade. What BTK needs to do is completely just... If BLACKLIST wants to come to the purple side, we go to the orange side, we go to the enemy side. We cannot contest 5v5, 4v5, even a 3v5 at this point. Look at them. They're so much ahead, not just in terms of gold, but more so in terms of XP. Now, Wise picking up the turtle once again. He is so basically almost unkillable at this point.
Yeah, back-to-back punishes coming out from Edward. First, it happened in the mid lane where BTK really wanted to go for the kill into Haji, and then Edward, knowing that mobazane already dashed in, he just went in for the Daytona's welcome, and that also happened in the previous cast. Instead, this time, he used the flicker forward and then pops the ultimate. He knows that for a time, Haji will be there to pop the Nibiru's passion, and it will be enough for the damage output against mobazane, who didn't have the Rondo anymore.
That's a good point. That's a good point. But the question is, right, how far can they do this? Because in terms of farming speed... Wait, hold on. Numenon Blast is going to zone out as ohmyvenus flickers out of the situation. oheb getting involved in the fight here. Here comes the circling eagle, and it's going to get on top of Zia so far, and ohmyvenus has to get on out of there. Granger just drops down. The Death Sonata, no! ohmyvenus survives ever so slightly with the glorious pathway as mobazane is trying to get some kind of retribution, but they are just choking him out of his own jungle as the entire of BLACKLIST International continues to win the 4v4.
That's why I feel like the Matilda is such a great pick for the side of BLACKLIST. They know that right now they have a lot of tanky heroes, right? So BTK, they're gonna go for the squishy ones. If you put some other hero on Venus, maybe perhaps the healer heroes like the Florin, it's gonna be really easy for BTK to punish him. He's very susceptible to all this engage, all this damage. But now with the Matilda, you try to target me, man. I have a billion dashes.
That's right.
New Dashman 9000 coming to stores near you, but let's look towards that top side. And once more, as Victor now going to be dealing with Edward, we can see the BTK is setting up for something in Pixel Brush in front of the turtle. That's happening in 10 seconds. This might be a good setup as Zia. He does see Wise, but Wise genuinely does not care about damage because he can just eat and tank everything so far.
This Hylas is a bully. He's gonna just run in front of you. If you're the jungler, you just can't do anything.
This is so unfun.
So unfun, yeah. So unfun. Look at Wise. He's 2 levels ahead of mobazane, and he's making sure that he actually just, flexes that in front of mobazane. Trying to, obviously, because of the retribution advantage that he has got because of his levels, this mobazane Granger just can't farm, and all Wise has to do is just to be in front of the Granger almost all the time.
Man.
Look at this. Honestly, because Wise has been taking the purple buff constantly, they're giving over their purple buff to oheb, right? You know it's gonna be so hard. Like you said, unfun for BTK if this keeps on happening, because Wise, he doesn't even need to respect BTK at this point. He can just go in 1v5 and he's still unkillable with the help of all the utility and the healing and the follow-up.
Oh my goodness, look at that. They're just trying to take it, but give mobazane the purple for once. BLACKLIST International just choking them out from this economy. But Victor, he finally gets a little bit of retribution, breaking open that tier 1 so far. But this game has been extremely passive from both BLACKLIST International as well as BTK.
It's all about the purple buff control at this point, and BLACKLIST International winning so badly against BTK. And this is off of just the fact that Hylas is very strong, as well as the level advantage is there.
Yeah, and they're going to continue to press the advantage here on tier 2 going in for BLACKLIST International. It looks like they are pumping up the gas here, knowing that oheb is in a very comfortable position in his farm, and the same goes for Haji.
The thing is, they're actually chaining this really well. They get the purple buff, rotate to the bottom side. I like that BTK aren't forcing anymore. But now, look at this. You use everything, it doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah, Fire Checking is getting chopped out quite a bit. And BLACKLIST International is like real war manipulation, more like I don't really care. But Edward might be punished here. Oh, he flickers out of the way. And when they get so close, oh, does he take it? Oh, he doesn't want to take it just yet. Again, continuing to play really, really passive, but despite being passive, they're still winning the game.
4 kills in total in 8 minutes, but you can see the 3,000 gold lead already built up for Blacklist. This is their way of playing the game. Not only do they suffocate their opponents, they literally choke them down and beat them to death.
And to add to that, Blacklist International is known as a team that is okay to slow down. They don't really put their win condition on being aggressive against their opponents. It's just really the Blacklist International code. They always make sure that they have multiple win conditions against their opponents, and none of that is being super duper aggressive against opponents. While BTK, that's exactly what they needed to do. Unfortunately, time is ticking. At 9 minutes and 29 seconds, they only have 1 kill. And that is definitely way out of their win condition.
I mean, they are getting choked out by EXP, but let's see how they're going to walk up to this Lord. This is such an awkward situation. They're going to draw Glorious Pathway early on. Edward's just going to walk right in fucking blood as Oheb does find an initial pick on towards Shark, but it is Shark. Oh wait, ohmyvenus bringing Wise right on top of mobazane. He's trying to get on there. Numenal Blast to disengage. It works out as it does land on top of Wise. Finally, they find the Death Sonata, and now the counter engagement. ohmyvenus is bringing both back. Haji, who tries to blow them up with Nibiru's passion. They trade 1 for 1, 4 for 1. It's looking great. BTK finally open up this game. Passiveness will not stop our aggression.
North America, are you watching? Your team is coming back against Blacklist. Pika, I hope you're watching here, because my goodness, the 3,000 gold lead has just been shaken out and turned around.
Finally. I can't believe it. The aggressiveness of Blacklist International. We just talked about how Blacklist International should not be aggressive, and it's not an aggressive team. ohmyvenus pops the ultimate on top of this mobazane Granger with the Hylos. I mean, that's very scary, right? But at a certain point in time, that will be easily be punishable, and that's exactly what happened. Nice peeling from Shark, again, dissecting the members on the side of Blacklist International. We saw that in game number 1, how he's able to use this Lolita just to really let Blacklist International scramble from that Numenal Blast AoE, and that peeling that they got from the ultimate gave the advantage to BTK.
I mean, this was really huge because we don't get to see a lot of Zia as well as Shark making that huge difference. But this time around, it made every difference in the world, and now it allows BTK to get a little bit of a lead so far.
But the same thing goes right here. We mentioned BTK, they're inexperienced. They somehow, you know, when they get the lead, they're not disciplined enough to maybe look for the instant end. They go for a little bit more. They overcommit onto team fights, but that's exactly what Blacklist did. That's the same mistake that we saw from BTK last game. This is something very uncharacteristic about Blacklist. They don't really go for these crazy team fights. Again, Venus went alone with Wise. That was a 2v5.
Yeah. And then we're too deep. I think that they're really feeling the lead that they have, especially after just getting the Lord. They want to get a pick off, and that's really a great idea. However, BTK, they cannot celebrate just yet. They still need to deal with the lanes. They still need to get back to lead. So far, it is a gold lead in favor of BTK, but that doesn't mean that they have the straight-up advantage over Blacklist. Most importantly, because Wise just picked up the Radiant Armor, and it's going to mess against the Eve, as well as the Esmeralda and the Lunas altogether.
Well, here we go. BTK is running right into it. Head for a Shark into the Wall of Fire. Numenal Blast as well as the Wolf Wombo combo comes out to punish out Wise. That's going to be a little unlucky as ohmyvenus cannot save him from that situation. Guiding Wind can only save one person at a time, but Edward now getting attacked here on towards that mid-side. Daytona's welcome. Is it going to connect just in time? No, it does not. Pure Life from Victor makes all the difference here as far as Chicken taking 50% of his HP in one Bennett's Rage.
This is the thing that I keep on mentioning, man. BTK, the reason Blacklist International were able to come back last game was because they played the side lanes perfectly. They set up every single time. They didn't let BTK just control their jungle. But this time around, Blacklist, they're getting too overzealous again. Even when they're losing in gold, look at the map. Every single time that BTK goes for the engage, they have the pressure all across the board. With that, they're able to build up such a good team fight with the positioning of every single member. And Blacklist, they're always caught off guard. They're starting to get dirty with it. And Blacklist, they need to stay in composure, because right now it is definitely not looking good.
In the Philippines, we call this the Squid Game tactic, where you use the Eve in combination with like an Farsa AoE, or maybe a Thorn Rose that's a triangle, so you form a circle, a square, and that's BTK kind of doing that. And the Numenal Blast covers for it, as well as the other floor skills from BTK, including the ultimate coming out from the real world manipulation. And really what they control there is not really the heroes, but more of the area if you take control of a territory for BTK, that is like the kill zone for BTK. And so far, Blacklist International are engaging in that kill zone.
Absolutely. And the one thing I do want to add from the side of Blacklist is that their composition relies heavily on diving towards the enemy team, right? With all these heroes in your arsenal, you need to go in. And what does BTK want to do? They want to just kite over and look for the pickoffs, look for the range, look for the poke, and that's exactly what they're doing.
Yep, Numenon Blast is already landing on towards Edward's side. It's going to be the glorious pathway to try and disengage that team. Haji already getting great Nibiru's passion, but Brilliant's fried chicken just in time to make it out. Flickers forward. He wants to kill the carries. It's his time. Winter trying to bail him out. Zia in trouble as the flowing blood is going to be taken. No, it's going to be Aji who takes him out with Nibiru, and they walk on forward. Shark can only do so much. Protect their backline as much as they can. The 2-for-0 trade, but Victor, he's looking for some kind of retribution on his side. He is gigantic as Edward cannot deal with the amount of damage as Victor is scaled very, very well. Blast, mega kill coming out from mobazane with the Death Sonata. They've got Lord on their side, and now they're pushing to take it all. Risk it for the biscuit. Falling Star Moon coming in for Victor as they break open the inhibitor. This is their moment. They could maybe steal a game, but BTK disciplined as ever. Aggression has its limits. They finally disengage and look for bottom inhibitor.
It happens again, Wolf. And again, look at this. Gideon, what's happening?
They're pulling them in. Oheb is trying to get them over with the flowing pup, but no, my Venus goes down. Haji next to fall. Oheb needs to survive as BTK are looking to hold him up. Oheb is doing his best, but Fried Chicken takes him out in one fell swoop. Is there a wave? Looking around in the map, mid lane is going to get opened wide here as the inhibitor goes down. Every inhibitor is gone. BTK's patience to get stunned up, but Edward, he finds the target with a Daytona's welcome. It's not going to be a BTK. They have done it. North America take another game off of the Filipino champions. GG, well played.
No time to sleep, man. It's 3 a.m., 4 a.m. We're going to keep on going. North America, you better stay awake because BTK are trying to break the code.
Beautiful.
They came out to play. My goodness, everything was stacked against them. But that Lord fight that started with the over-aggression of Blacklist International. I mean,